Hi guys, and welcome to visualbasic.net access database connection. Okay, let me show you guys how this works. In this very project we can search. Let's assume we want to search for maybe Pius or Jonathan. Just enter whatever you want to search for in there and click on the search button here. There we go, we can see Pius there. Okay, and we can even add. Let's assume we want to add. Let's reset, click on reset, add new data in there, and let's say who we want to add is going to be as a reference number, and the name is Alan Morehouse, and underneath here we have the address Norman Close, postcode, telephone number. All we then need to do is just to click on add, and we should be able to see the details of Alan right there. Click on OK. There we go, and let's scroll down. We should be able to see his details. There we go, that's the details of Alan. Okay, one other thing is we'll be able to see that very details on the access database itself. Okay, let's open up the database and double click on it, and right there that's Alan Morehouse details in there. Okay, we can close that. The other thing that we can do is we can delete. Let's assume we want to delete whatever details in here. Let's say we want to delete John Gambino. Let's come in here, delete John Gambino. There we go, John Gambino is off the system now. So let's go straight into the database as well. Double click on the database, and John Gambino is gone. We only have Peter and Jonathan Gambino in there. Okay, so let's say we want to print out. Click on print. There we go. All they need to do is just to click on this print button there, and that is it. Supposing we want to update details. Okay, let's say we want to update the detail of Peter here. Alright, just change the student number to maybe that's the new student number. All we then need to do is take note of these guys. All we then need to do is to click on update, and that is Peter's details updated. And we can view, as you guys can see. Okay, we can exit. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to take you guys to Visual Basic Development Environment, and we'll put one of these together. Okay guys, let's exit out and start a new project. So click on exit. Yeah, alright, so in here we create new project and select Visual Basic. I'm going to give that a name. I will call it VB. Save access. I'm going to click on create, and there we go. Now I'm going to define the size of my form, so I'm going to make that 1300 by 788. There we go. Now let's go straight into the toolbox here, and inside the toolbox I'm going to select, let's go to the all window form, or Windows forms actually. Now come right down here, select panel. There we go. I'm going to drag a big panel here. Okay, that's my panel right there. So I'm going to change the color of that panel to something maybe cadet blue. Let's go to back color here. Let's type in cadet blue, or you can always search for it there. And I'll create another panel. Let's grab another one here. It's actually inherited the color of this very panel, so I'm going to change the color of this very one. So let's come in and change the color to control. So control is the default color, so I'm just gonna drag it along. Now hold on to your control and just copy this very one, and let's copy that again, reduce the size of this, and this one I'm going to change the size of this to about 882 by 576. And the other one, let's come in here, that is it right here, just bring it out. Okay, that will do. And I am now going to copy that very one. Control, hold on to the control, click and drag, and then just bring it down. Okay, that's fine. So I am now going to add, let's add the following. So first of all, let's come into the tools. I will need data grid view. Let's go right up, data grid view, there. Let's draw that here. Let's bring the data grid view down and drag it all the way. Alright, so I will also change the back color of that data grid view to something lighter. Let's come in here and just, button face, and the border, let's make that fix 3D. Let's go back in there. I need the border style fix 3D. Right, that is fine. Now let's come back in here. I then need labels, one label here, and I also need text box there. I'm going to change the size of both components. Just select them both and come right here. Let's change it to something a bit readable, maybe 32. Let's make it 36. Right there. All I need is, I'm gonna need about 6 of those, and this one here, that is going to be student ID. Let's change the name of the other one to TXT student ID. This very one, TXT student ID, there. Okay, so let's just select and copy to, and I need just 2 more now. Move this, just select there. I will realign it properly. Okay, that is fine. Now copy this, just put this here. Might as well just skip that name right away and forget it. So I'm going to call that maybe something to do with access database connection, access database connect. Let's see. Alright, so that is fine. Let's make that one a bit bold. And this one, let's change that to first name. And the text content, that will be TXT first name. There. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to show to you guys now is, let's copy one of these and just bring it here. It's going to be here. I'm going to call that a search engine. So that'll be txt search. There we go. And here I'm going to need some buttons. So come straight to the toolbox here. Let's grab whole of buttons. Then I can just speed it up. Add a button here. And let's change the font size to something readable as well. And we can just call that, I want to call that save instead of add data. You can call it add data, you can call it whatever you like. Save data, yep. Right. Okay, I suppose you guys get the whole idea, so I'm going to speed that up. We're going to need about 8 of those in there. There we go. So I'm going to speed up the development process and just get back to you guys shortly. Okay, that is it all done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the form. I want to get this form center, then we run it and you guys see how that looks like. There we go. So click on run. Let's see. That's how it's looking now. Okay, so we can enter whatever I want to enter in there. Okay, before we do any other thing, let's end that. I'm going to double click on the form itself and let's come. First of all, let's add as follows, because you might not have the connector OLEDB in your system. So go to project here and you select manage NuGet package. Click on that and that opens up this browser for you. Click on this browser itself. So in that browser type in OLEDB and once that pops up, that is a system.data.oledb. Select that and click on install there and click on OK, and that is it. You're done with that. You now have your system.oldb whatever on your system. Just before I close that, if you notice here, you see the options. That's the description of what the OLDB does. Provide a collection of classes for OLDB. The commonly used type include system.oldb.command and so on. There we go. Okay, so it's good to know what they are used for. So I'm just going to more or less like cheat. I'm going to copy that. Now let's go in here, close that. We don't need it anymore. And up here inside your coding area, right on top of the public class form1, we need to then import the OLDB itself. There, that is it, imported. Okay, now before we carry out any other thing, I am going to first of all go in here. I'm going to open up Access Database. So let's select a new project entirely, and this one let's click on create, and here let's just give it a name. I will call it save database or save data. Close that. So I'm going to say VB save. There, save data. That's fine. VB save data, that's the name of my database. Click on create. Once that is created, I'm going to let's give this project a name first. I'm going to right click on the table there and I'm going to call it exactly the same name, VB save data. VB save data. That's all there is to that. And right click in there again, select design view. So my very first field, that is going to be student ID. Instead of making that as primary key, I'm going to disable the primary key and select data type is going to be short. And the next field is going to be first name. we have surname, we have address, then we have postcode, and finally I'm going to enter telephone. Yeah, that's cool. There. So I have all my fields in place, so save that, and I'm going to right click and just open the table itself. That is it. So let's close it. I don't have any use for it right now, so close that. Let's go straight to the server. Look at it, Server Explorer. If you don't have Server Explorer on your system, go to Windows and select Reset Window Layout, and then click on Yes. And that's the Server Explorer right there. So I'm going to select the Server Explorer, and right up here you see Connect to Database. Click on that. When you click on that, this dialog pops up, Add Connection. Click on, if you don't have Microsoft Database File OLDB here, click on Change, and you just change it to whatever you want, but the default is Microsoft Access Database File OLDB, so that's fine. So now click on the Browse. Inside the Browse, navigate to wherever you have your database. That's my database right there, VB Save Data. There we go. I'm going to get rid of this admin, and let's click on Test Connection. That is it. The connection is successful. Click on OK, and let's click on Advanced so that we can copy the location, the provided location. There we go. Look at it, provider Microsoft, so and so on. There we go. I'm going to copy that. That is the address that I need. Copy that. Copy. Click on OK, and click on OK again. There we go. That's my database. It's now connected to the Server Explorer right there. Okay, we're done with that. We can then minimize that. Let's double click on the form to get the database connected to the system. So I'm going to double click on the form. Let's go right underneath public here. First of all, I'm going to have to connect the following. So let's say dim connect as new OLDB OLE. That will be connection. There we go. And I'm also going to say dim CMD. That will be as OL command. Now let's get hold of the table. Dim DT as new data table, and dim DA as new, that will be OLEDB, that should be as OLDB data adapter. Yep, that is fine. Let's get hold of, let's assign my command to it here. Private here, private bitmap as bitmap. I'm going to be using that for the printer. Okay, whatever we might need again, we will have to get hold of that. Okay, let's come into my form load here. So the way you can get into form load is just double click on the form, and that will bring you to form load. And now I want to connect this, so I'm going to say connect dot connection string there, and I will then say equals as follows. The location that I copied earlier. So just in case if you guys have forgotten this very location, you can always go back to your server, and that is it. Right click, properties, and that's the location, the connection string location. Look at it, just copy it. Okay, and that's what I've done. Alright, so now my data or the database should be connected to the system. Now the other thing that I want to do is I'm going to say txt search the text. I want the following text to appear on it. There. And I will also want the color of this text. I want it to kind of like look a little bit like silver color. So let's say dot for color. That will be equals color dot silver. There. Right. Okay, now I want to, let's do one thing to add data. I change this to add data. I'm going to change it back to save data. Save data, so that you guys will know you have to save the data. And I'm going to change the name as well to btn save data. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to double click on this. So I'm going to start by opening the database first. Connect dot open, and guess what, it has to be closed as well. So connect dot close. Yeah, in between, what I want to now do is I'm going to get a command that will be equals connect dot creates command, and let's say command dot command type. That will be equals command type dot text dot text. Right, so we also need the command. Let's come in and say command dot command text, and the text that will go in there, that is going to be my SQL statement. That's insert into my database. Let's check out the name of my database again. Let's click that, and it's called VB Save Data. So minimize that, and in here enter VB Save Data. Right, so we want to enter the following. And if you guys can still recall, inside my VB Save Data I have, alright, this is our VB Save Data. So right click and open up the design view. Inside the design view I need student ID. So I'm going to enter student ID in there. That's a comma. The next one is going to be first name, comma, surname, comma, address, post code, yeah, and telephone. We now need to add the values. So I'm going to come in here. Let's open up a bracket, and we'll say the values that we're talking about will be as follows. Okay, plus, and the very first value is going to be txt student ID dot text. That is my very first value. I'm going to press enter here, and here what we want is I'm going to enter a comma there. It's a comma. Okay, press, and the next one is going to be txt first name dot text. The first name dot text, and I'm going to say plus double quotes, single quotes, comma, single quotes. Right, and let's put another plus here and add the next one. So just grab hold of this, paste it here. The next one is going to be txt surname dot text. Paste that again. The next one in here is going to be txt address dot text. That's good. Paste that here, and this is going to be txt postcode dot text, and enter. Finally, I'm going to have here txt telephone dot text. Alright, and I have all my data in there, so I'm just gonna call this one. Let's close here and get rid of this. There, all the errors is gone now. Okay, I am now going to round up the command. I'll say command dot. That is going to be execute non-query. Let's look for execute non-query. Right, and underneath here, let me enter a message box that will kind of like confirm if everything is in process. So let's say message box dot show, let's say record saved. Okay, record saved, that's good enough. And I'm gonna say comma. Let's enter my title in there. That's a VB database, VB save database. Right, record save in VB save database, in VB saved in MS Access. Right, so we have the first argument, the second argument, the third argument. I'm just going to call that message box buttons dot OK, and enter another argument that will be message box icon, message box icon. So that will be just an information. That is good. Okay, that's fine. So that is my add taken care of. But supposing if I run into an error, I can always use a try catch there, but let me run it first and see if it's going to work anyway. So let's see, and enter some data in here and a name in here. I'm going to call that Sally Moore. Address of Sally Moore, Hilltop. Postcode, telephone. Okay, and click on save. There, that means it's working. I'm gonna click on OK. So if I open up my database, double click on this. I should be there. We go. That is it. Details of Salomon is right there. We'll close that. So that is fine. But like I said earlier on, it would be a wise idea to enter try, just in case if there's going to be any problem. Try, and underneath here I'm going to enter the cache statement in a cache. Try cache if there's any problem. So I'm going to say ex as exception, and my exception statement, I'm going to grab hold of all of this statement in here and come right down here. First of all, we'll say end try, and my error statement will be as follows. And I'm going to get rid of all of this. Get rid of this one. So the error statement will be generated by the computer system. It says, so let's say ex dot message there, and the message box icon, I'm going to make that an arrow. Dot arrow. Yeah, that is fine. Let's try that out again. Click on run and enter another details, and the name is Tony Montana. Address, he lives in number 17 Little Venice. Postcode, telephone number, there. Click on save. There we go, saved. So we should have 2 records now on my database. Let's open up the database and see. Let's click on the database, double click on that. There we go, we have Tony Montana's details there as well. That's fine. So minimize that. So guys, with that, I'm going to call it the end of the first part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.